What's going on, guys? PepperBelly here, bringing you some ArmA 3 gameplay. It's actually kind of lengthy, but it's kind of badass. Playing on the highest difficulty with the AI setting, like to the maximum. And we're basically just going in there and doing some urban operations, clearing out the village of Op 4 and sending them right to hell. And then they also send us to hell, because I'm the only remaining guy at the very end of this gameplay, which is pretty intense. But I also wanted to talk about one of the major topics that was been debated throughout ArmA history. And that is related to implementing female character models as soldiers in a combat environment. Now, this actually came up recently within the feedback section that Bohemia Interactive set up. So you can actually go on there and respond and give like feedback tickets that you can submit, and it allows you to set the priority of what, if you think it should be addressed right away, you set as maximum priority, and then people can upvote it and downvote it. So this female player actually set it as a high priority and said that it's absolutely crucial that female characters be implemented because it'd be more realistic, because females are now allowed on the battlefield. So I'm going to clarify that, because people seem to be very they're misinterpreting, and like they don't have the proper information like of what it actually is and how it is in real life. So I'm pretty much going to kind of clarify and give you my opinion on the whole matter. And there were a lot of people that were actually making good points and bad points in the comments section that were following through, and then she was getting defensive, you know, like the way that people would say, like, I don't think it's a good idea. And it's like, well, you think men are better than girls? There's no equality there and all that kind of stuff. So I'm pretty much going to clear the air right now, because this is just like a ridiculous topic. So females in real life, okay, they are not sent, like you're seeing in this gameplay, on missions to go and assault the enemy and kill the fucking shit out of them. To actually purposely go and pick a fight, confront the enemy, engage in combat, and neutralize the opposition. You do not see females in infantry squads fucking doing that. There are infantry women. I've seen some throughout my like military career. I've seen women in the army. I've talked with them. They're infantry. They're, you know, like fucking vehicle techs. They're everything, right? Women can do whatever the hell they want. But you're not going to see a woman engaging in an actual firefight, but like intended that way, like intentionally. There's people that were saying like, oh, I know females in the military that have been engaged by the enemy and they've been in firefights and they've killed people and have been killed. This is known throughout history, okay? It's very obvious. People know women have been involved in firefights and have been killed and have killed and all that kind of stuff. It's just, it's a fact. It's happened. The difference though is that nowadays in modern combat, women tend to get engaged more or less by ambushes and stuff like that. They're in a more defensive posture. Women play more supportive roles nowadays in actual combat, in modern combat, than going out on the offensive. It's just the way it is. I'm not going to say whether or not women should be allowed or not. In my personal opinion, anybody who can get the job done should be allowed to do it. If you can pass a training, you can do everything, you should be allowed to get that. If you can do the job, you should be allowed to do it. Doesn't matter if you're a female or a male, or you're a fucking hybrid with like a dick and a vagina and like one boob and one peck. It doesn't fucking matter. If you can get the job done, you should be allowed to go and do it. But the way it is in real life is that females are just not in combat roles. Simple as that. Female character implementation into this game should be done. Now, with that said, yes, there should be female characters in the game. They should be civilians, and they should be supported roles in the military for Blue 4, because Iran, which is the Op 4 in this game, they do not seem like they are on board with ever having female infantry soldiers. It's just the way they are. They're not going to do it. It's kind of like, I don't know why it is. I'm not going to make a comment on that. It's them, okay? That's just the way they are. The American Army and the Canadian Army and the Australian Army and, you know, various militaries throughout the world allow women to serve. They don't do it in a combat role. You don't see women's special forces. You will never see that. I've never heard of anything. There could be. I don't know. I've never heard of it. It doesn't seem realistic to me that there would be a woman subjected to a combat situation that is deemed unfitting for them. It's not like we're trying to degrade women, saying that they can't do it, because women can't, okay? Women are completely capable of doing it. But one thing I always end up telling people who ask me questions like that, like why aren't women in the army or why aren't they in infantry roles, and they're saying why, because they're not as strong as males. No, women can do it. But do you really want to subject yourself to a fucking combat environment where buddy beside you is getting his head blown off and then, you know, you're being shot at and you get wounded and all this? Is that really what you want to do? Is that really, really what you want to do? Do you really want to subject yourself to that kind of shit? Okay, it doesn't matter if you can do it or not. Is that really what you want to do? Are you that, like, invested on making your point that women are strong enough that you really want to subject yourself to harsh conditions that really no man or person should ever have to go through? But it's done because the way war is. Man created war, man should fight it. It's a kind of a psychological thing in men that we are to protect women. It's been like through evolution, you know what I mean, if you're into that kind of thing. Like, over the years, psychologically, men have the mentality to protect women. So seeing a woman on the front lines engaging in combat just doesn't seem natural to us. I would not like to see a female getting her fucking head shot off right beside me, and I'm still like, you know, it just, I wouldn't want to see that. It would be awful. So, yes, they should be implemented. They should be in the game. They should do supportive roles. They should definitely be civilians. And even in my opinion, there should be children and, you know, younger adults and stuff like that included in the game as well. And they should all be killable. Now, you're probably thinking, like, right now, like, what in the fuck? That is the most awful thing you could say. Let's kill children. Oh my god. That's not the point I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to make is that war is fucking terrible. War is awful. War is gritty. War is bloody. Alright? Games don't depict it well enough. ArmA should fucking show that, especially within the next generation of technology that this game is going for. War is going to be a hell of a lot more bloody because it's going to be so much simpler to fucking kill people. It's so easy to kill a person in reality that it's actually, that's partly what fucks you up. Like when you see people that have like PTSD or people that are like really guilt-tripped by killing people, it's because they realize that it was so fucking easy to take a life. And taking a life is a huge deal. And that kind of plays in the whole psychological thing of warfare, where essentially it's not easy to do this stuff. War is just bad, right? Everyone knows that. War is just a fucking creation of man. You're killing each other. It's awesome in movies and stuff like that, but in a real context, it's actually something you wish you never had to experience in your life. Depending, I know some people had good times in combat. It really depends. It's an adrenaline junkie type thing to do. The risk factor and all that kind of stuff. So they should really display that. I think that ArmA would really shine if they really showed off how war is actually like, you know, conflict and combat is fucking stressful, and it takes a toll on you as a person whenever you're subjected to moments and situations like this. So getting back on what I was saying earlier about like the whole killing children, you know, having like civilians that are actually implemented in the game in a realistic way, is to really let you realize the severity of what you're doing. Like, in this situation, you're pretty much bulldozing through a country, shelling the fucking shit out of their homes, and they're running throughout the streets, realizing that, like, trying to hide in their houses and stuff like that while you're pretty much killing each other outside. It's a very realistic type thing, and sometimes people evacuate towns and stuff like that, but it really depends. Some people stay behind. It really depends. That's basically what I'm coming down to. But when there is civilians, that's the gravity and the reality of the situation, is that, yes, there are going to be younger generation people there. There are going to be older people as well. And it's going to be pretty fucking bloody and awful for them and you as well to see that. One thing I remember from Rainbow Six Vegas, which was probably the moment I remember the most, like with absolute vivid detail, because I fucking loved it. And basically what it is, you walk into the strip on Vegas, like in Vegas when you're clearing out like the terrorists and all the baddies, and then you see, once you open this door and you go into this major like kind of huge alleyway, there's like fucking gunfire coming from everywhere, right? As like the terrorists are pretty much slaughtering civilians, and then you find like a teenage girl like stuck behind like this kind of tree concrete type structure, and then her parents are kind of like halfway on the other side of the actual alleyway as well. And then you storm in there and you see them being shot at and they're screaming at one another. They're fucking terrified, right? And basically you go in there and you start fucking mauling all these terrorists. Start like just fucking killing them all. You know, putting them right into the ground, sinking those targets 6 feet under. And you actually feel like an incredible badass. You have like this emotional feeling like that you're going in there, you're telling them to stay down to the ground. You're like, stick low, don't fucking raise your head up. And you're going in there and you kill them all the fucking terrorists. And then they're safe. And it feels so good to do that, to like protect those civilians in that type of environment. And if the daughter died, the parents would actually react to it in a very emotional way. Vice versa, if the father died or the mother died. It's actually a very emotional, realistic moment that they put into that game where you really realize that, holy shit, this is fucking insane. Human lives would actually be impacted because of this situation, because of what happened. So that kind of thing should definitely be included in ArmA, at least in my opinion. It should be done that way so that it gives a hell of a lot more authenticity, a hell of a lot more realism, and more gravity to the situation that's actually unfolding, because conflict is fucking brutal. So, like I said, women should be implemented in the game. I know it's kind of like went off topic a little bit into like a whole bunch of other areas, but generally, women should definitely be implemented in the game. Not right away. This is alpha, right? This is way early in development, like very early in development. This is usually, it's very rare that you get to play an alpha publicly, and it's available for everybody to purchase and get a hold of. So obviously this may be considered down the line, but right now, where it stands, this is something that should be addressed later, because there is technical issues with that. Like, you're not going to just be like, oh, I'm going to change the face of this character and suddenly everything's good. That's not the way it is, alright? It's a lot more difficult than that. You got to change the hit detection, you know, like the hit registration for the character model. You got to adjust the animations so they fit properly. You got to change the uniform so it conforms to a female body the way it actually would in real life. There's things and adjustments you have to make so it actually plays out smoothly and works and functions properly. So, hopefully that kind of gave you an idea, because that's just, I mean, I went way off topic kind of in some areas, but generally that's my opinion on the whole matter. And take it with a grain of salt. Do whatever you want with it, because it's just an opinion, right? Just some random guy on the internet talking about random stuff involving ArmA and basically giving you what he thinks. Regardless, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please remember to rate the video, comment the video, and subscribe if you want to see more in the future. Take care, guys.